All right, shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, YAHAWAHSHI, Rakah Kadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders that I learned the truth from, men of GMS, and the brethren with the like-minded doctrine. This lesson that I got, that I'm gonna do today is called Many Worlds, because there are many worlds, and basically we're gonna focus on um the um the book of John, um chapter 13 verse 16. John 3:16 was many of these so-called Christians like to go to basically to try to justify their their doctrine of the Messiah came for all people, which he only came for the Israelites, which we can go into that first. We'll get that. I think it's out of Luke. I came not for the lost sheep. Yeah, Matthew's, the book of Matthew's, verse 10 and 6, and it says, "But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel," which I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna go ahead and get the full Salakia. And Matthew's 10 and 5 says, "These 12 Yahawashi sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." So we're gonna read it out of the New Living Translation. It says, "Yahawashi sent out the 12 apostles with these instructions: Do not go to the Gentiles or the Samaritans, but only to the people of Israel, Yahweh's lost God, Yahweh of God's lost sheep." So that's only the apostles, the disciples are sent. Yahweh only came of the house of Israel. It just says it right there. So, but we gonna go into the John 3:16 also, because a lot of people, you know, that believe that think they know the Bible, they just jump to this. They just have this for their defense, and they ignore all the other scriptures in the Bible, the whole Bible itself. They're trying to rely on with no understanding, a misunderstanding of this scripture, and run with it. But everything else out of the Bible is not even worth mentioning when it comes to these people, because we gonna read it here, because they are not sent by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, so they have no understanding. So this is John 3:16. It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." We just read out of Matthew's, the 10th chapter, and the 15th chapter. I think it's in the 15th too, that the Messiah only came for the lost sheep. Why? Because we was scattered, or diaspora. We were scattered into all nations, which was a curse. The Most High scattered us into all nations. So that's why the apostle means sent forth, I think, to be sent forth, apostle. So that's why they sent. And they was talking to basically there was the apostle Salakia was sent forth for the what they name in the scriptures Gentiles, or the Greeks, was the lost sheep that was scattered throughout all nations. So let me see if I can grab something real quick so like it. Okay, I'm gonna get this out of Ezekiel. I think it's the 14th chapter, 12th verse. You know, it says here, we'll start the first verse to let you know who is talking about. It's obvious, it's the Israelites. It says, therefore speaking unto them and say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahawah Ba'ashem YAHAWAHSHI, every man of the house of Israel that are set up, so like it, every man of the house of Israel that setteth up his idols in his heart, and putteth the stumbling block of his iniquity before his face, and cometh to the prophet, I, the Lord, Yahawah Ba'ashem YAHAWAHSHI, will answer him that cometh according to the multitudes of his idols. So this is the prophet Jeremiah, it's like Ezekiel, speaking to the house of Israel. So I just read that verse to let you know who was being talked about here. And we can go to the 12th verse. Not the 12th verse. Where is it at? It's like here. So like here, it's Ezekiel 12 and 14. 14 and 12 I had it backwards. Well, it's still talking about the house of Israel. So it's still talking about Israel, obviously, but I'm going to read verse 1 and 2. Ezekiel 12 and 1, it says, and the word of the Lord, Yahawah Ba'ashem YAHAWAHSHI, also came unto me, saying, Son of man, thou dwellest in the midst of a rebellious house, which have eyes to see and see not. They have ears to hear and hear not, for they are a rebellious house, which is the Israelites. And I'm going to jump to the 14th verse, and it says, basically letting you know that the Israelites were scattered. It says, and I will scatter towards every wind all that are about to help him, and all his bands, and I will draw out the sword after them. And they shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem YAHAWAHSHI, when I shall scatter them among the nations and disperse them among the countries. So, the house of Israel, the Israelites has been scattered. So basically that's the whole reason why the apostles means sent forth, or sent to the other nations. Not for the other the nations, as the other nations as of Gentiles, but the Israelites that's in a Gentile state of mind, or the Hellenistic Jews, which I'm gonna get into that too. I'm gonna get this out of James, the New Testament, James 1 and 1, and it says, James, a servant of Yahawah Ba'ashem YAHAWAHSHI, and of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. So this is the 12 tribes which were scattered abroad, which why the apostles were sent forth. So now that John 3:16, going back to John 3:16, It says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So we understand that the Israelites were scattered among the nations, the other nations, um, and also we're gonna get into what this word "world" means. So it means cosmos, which
Strong's G 2889. Cosmos. Cosmos.
says cosmos. It says an apt or harmonious arrangement outline biblical use. The first definition, it says an apt or harmonious arrangement or constitution, order, or government. Order, government. So it's basically talking about the government or the government of Israel. So that's what it means there. That's what it says. It's a order that the Most High set up when he set up the Israelites to be above all nations, which we can get that too. So like we are our nation above all nations. We're gonna get this out of Isaiah, the second chapter, and the second verse. Starting at the first verse, Isaiah 2:1, and it says, "In the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem, it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountains of Yahawah that the mountains of the Lord's house, YAHAWAHSHI, shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above all hills, exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountains of the Lord. Go up to the mountain of the Lord, YAHAWAHSHI, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of of his ways, and we will walk in his path. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem." So it also says, I'm gonna get it too. It's like it. You go to Deuteronomy chapter 14, Deuteronomy 14 and verse 2. Deuteronomy chapter verse 14 and 2, and it says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power, YAHAWAHSHI, and the Lord have chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all nations that are upon the earth." So that's that order. Everything is upside down. Esau, Edom, the wicked is ruling. He in his rulership. But Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is coming back. Yahushai is coming back. The Messiah, Hamashiach, is coming back to set things right in this right order. Like it says, arrangement. We're just gonna go back there. So like it, John 3:16. John 3:16, where it says that world is cosmos, which means order or arrangement. So go back here again. So like it, cosmos. So that order is what? Israelites being above all nations. It says an apt, a harmonious arrangement or constitution, order, or government. So that's that order, that harmonious and harmony arrangement, in harmony with all the world, in harmony with what the Most High has set up. It's the Israelites being on top in rulership. That's that order. So that's that world that is talking about there. And plus, the Most High made many worlds, which we're gonna get into that. I think it's the Hebrews, the book of Hebrews, chapter 1. And we're gonna start at 1. It says, Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahushai, who that sundry who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, have in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he have appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. So we're gonna go into what it means there with the worlds.
Strong's G 165. Ion.
Where you get the word eon from is ion. Where you get the word eon, which eon means period of times. We're going to say worlds or universe, worlds. The last. Oh, we can go to the first verse. Like it says, forever an unbroken age, perpetuity of times, eternity. It says eternity. The worlds, it says an unbroken age. Basically, that's what we're looking for. Unbroken age, a period. You go to the third definition. It says period of time, an age, an age. So that's where you got the word eon from. It's an age. So basically, it's a different. You got to go into the definitions, the Greek or the Hebrew, to get the proper understanding. So that's an eon or age, which we're in the age or eon of Esau Edom ruling. So it's like Second Ezra's, the 6th chapter and the 9th verse. The Esau Edom is the end of the world, and Jacob is the end. It's the beginning of it that followeth. Which also we gonna get. We gonna go into the book of Acts to let you further understand that it's an eon or an age of rulership. So it's Acts chapter 11 and 27. Acts 11 and 27. It says, in these days came prophets from Jerusalem to Antioch, and there stood up one of them named Agabus, and signified by the Spirit that there should be great thirst throughout all the world, which came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar. So we understand that there was a dearth. That dearth means a drought. So we're going to read it out of the New Living Translation on the right side. Acts 11 and 27. It says, during this time, some prophets traveled from Jerusalem to Antioch. One of them named Agabus, Agabus, stood up in one of the meetings and predicted by the Spirit that a great famine was coming upon the entire Roman world. So you see that it says Roman world. So it's a separation there. This was fulfilled during the reign of Claudius. So that world was the Romans, because the Romans ruled during this time. It was their eon or their age to rule, which they're still in the rulership. Which the Romans are Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, and he's still in his rulership. So that lets you know there that it's a world, it's different worlds. Let's talked about in Hebrews, the 1st chapter, that there's many worlds. The Most High made many worlds. So that's just evident that this world that it was living in, and is ironic also, if that's for lack of better words, that this is also happening now because this is a great famine in Babylon the Great, Roman 2.0. This is a famine. Well, there's a famine going on also, which is going to get it's going to increase as the time progresses. This place is not healed. Babylon will not be healed. There's famine going on. All type of pestilence and trouble is going on. So all this is it's talked about in Matthew's the 24th chapter, the beginning of sorrows, which is famine. Which basically this verse here fits what the time that we're living on also, because there's going to be a great famine also to come. So basically, not to get off track, that this world here, which we're gonna get the definition of it, was the Romans' world. The Romans, they was ruling during this time. So lets you know also that it's the same word, orkamini. It's like it. Orkamini.
Strong's G 3625. Oikumene. Oikumene.
So if you go to the biblical use, you go to one subsection B, it says what? The Roman Empire. All the subjects of that empire. So basically it's talking about a world, you know. It's a particular world, and that particular world at this time is the Roman Empire, you know. So that's the world that at that time was in rulership. That was the Roman Empire. They was their world that we're still living in under Esau Edom. You know, he's still in the rulership. So we gonna get this last verse and we gonna close out on it to let you know John 3:16 that Yahweh God so loved the world that he only gave his begotten son. There's many worlds, and that world is what? Is the Israelites. Like it's like the scripture said, like in Matthew's, that the Messiah came not but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, which was scattered. So we gonna go into Isaiah, the 45th chapter, in the 17th verse. Isaiah 45 and 17, and it says, But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. So that's that world that he's talking about. And I'm going to read out the New Living Translation. And it says, But the Lord will save the people of Israel with eternal salvation throughout everlasting ages. Everlasting ages. They will never again be humiliated and disgraced. So throughout the ages, we got an everlasting ages, which is a period of rulership. You know, Esau's the end. He's at the end of his rulership, you know. So I just wanna make a lesson through the spirit on that. That was I was thinking on it. You know, I ran across that chapter in Acts with the Romans through the spirit, and it told you, you know, it shows you that the world was the Romans, the Romans world, because they was ruling at that time. They was the governing nation at that time. So the Most High, YAHAWAHSHI, Yahweh has gave his only begotten Son, YAHAWAHSHI, for the world of Israel only. You know, it's the rightful order. You know, so it says throughout everlasting ages. So I'm gonna close out on it. And I want to say, Call Halayim La Yahawah Ba'ashem, YAHAWAHSHI Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Shalom till next time, Yahawah Ratazah, which means Lord willing, and Wa Abba Babal, DTA soon.